So hello, yes, and welcome to the show, Mr. Craig Muirhead. Yeah, Craig, how are you, sir? Are you well?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Very well, thanks for having me. Looking
Good,
forward to
good.
that chat.
Well, yeah, also we have joining us a couple of members of the Rab Show team. We also have a few questions for you. We have Deej McIntosh, of course, and we have
Yeah,
Andrew Shilliday. Yes. So hello, everyone. How you all doing?
grand yourself.
Aye, not bad. It's a Sunday and I'm about to eat my dinner, so whenever we're recording this. So, Craig, for want of an introduction, do you want to tell the folks at home who you are, your background in piping, and all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Craig Muirhead, I'm currently the director of piping and drumming at Strathallan School, which is a boarding school in Perthshire. And at the school, we've probably got we're just over 100 kids involved in piping and drumming just now. But I kind of ended up there through years of like playing Scottish Power Pipe Band and with the Red Hot Chilli Pipers and things, and doing lots of different composing and arranging over the years. And I sort of ended up finding myself teaching at the school. So that, it was my first teaching job. I started about 7 years ago, and yeah, all going quite well just now.
There you are. So, are you still involved with the likes of the Chili's and stuff? Do you still get up there and do your thing, or?
Yeah, I do bits involved with the Chili's. No, well, nothing this year, obviously, but I was actually due to do a few gigs this summer. The, I actually ended up working at Strathallan. I was on tour with the Chili's in China when the job came up at Strath. And I wasn't just playing with the Chili Papers. I was doing all sorts of like performing and freelance stuff. And I really wanted to get into teaching full time. So the job came up at Strath and I went for it back then. And so when I got that, I sort of made the decision to go full time teaching, and yeah, it was great.
There you go. So, you've been playing competitively as well, and you mentioned Scottish Power. Was there any other bands you were involved with, Craig, or?
Yeah, yeah. So I started at the Royal Bird of Stirling Pipe Band. That's where I learned, and then I was off to the Clan Society. That was my first sort of grade one band, which was great fun.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Power when I started at the Academy in Glasgow, which is now the Conservatoire. And then in terms of solos and things, I really enjoyed going through the whole circuit on the solos. So that was all good. I've not done very much in the last couple of years, just with work. It's been quite busy.
Strathallan's managed to keep you busy, then, Craig. In other words, yeah.
Yeah, they have.
Well, the reason why we have you on, there is an ulterior motive here. We do know we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and the reason we have Deej and Andrew here, all of you guys are involved in teaching in some respect, and teaching in the middle of this pandemic. I don't know about you guys, but it's bound to have been a challenge so far. How have you found things, Craig?
Yeah, it has been really challenging. And at the start of it all, I was getting quite concerned because we didn't seem to be getting any advice from anyone. I was always trying to look to the government advice, obviously, but even our sort of governing bodies and piping and things, just looking for some advice, some info, and we couldn't seem to get it initially. And I know it was, and I'm not criticising anyone, it was very difficult. So we sort of tried to. I got in touch with Dr. Robert Gray, who is a great piper himself and works through at the University of Edinburgh, and then John Hughes from the RSPB, and we did a bit of a forum thing for teachers at the start of summer, just because, like everyone else, was starting to get a bit panicky about how we were going to do this going forward. So it was just the lack of info, and like I say, that's no one's fault. It was just that was what was concerning at the start. So we've had to make. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to say Andrew he was involved in kind of watching it. He was, involved in all of that. Andrew, what did you think of the event then that was held with Craig and John?
It was really good. It was good to actually have a discussion about it, like hearing from an experienced medical, a doctor, having his views and like the things that he would be concerned about with aerosols and things to get there, and it was worthwhile.
That's it, and but that's some of the things that we've been discussing on social media and all of that is just how dangerous is it to play pipes, socially with aerosols and all that. Did you guys manage to reach a conclusion, or?
Well, we still don't know. We still don't really know, do we?
Yeah.
I mean, I think outside, if you're miles apart, I'd love to be able to get the band out, but we wouldn't just now because, well, we just don't know. But yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because you're desperate to play. You just want to get the kids playing. I want to be playing myself as well.
Exactly. Yeah. But Deej, you're a drumming instructor, so you don't have that problem.
No, not as such. No.
No, but you still have the issue though with staying socially distant now from your pupils. Used to be you could reach across the table and say, no, just move that wee bit of tape there and that'll change that. Or in your case, no, you can show how are you guys struggling with having to work over services like this, like Zoom?
Well, I'll happily say, I've said it before. For me, the first and foremost is trying to deal with technology. Me and technology don't go very well.
Yeah.
But no, it's difficult, especially kids that had signed up for. They just started lessons 2, 3, maybe 4 months prior to everything just getting shut down. They weren't at a comfortable stage where they could at home pick up their sticks and put the sticks in the proper place at the right time and just sit and practice.
Yeah.
They were still needing the quick little reminders of like move your thumb down a little bit or make sure your thumbprint's on the stick. And normally you would physically move their thumb sometimes, or it's a lot easier face to face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And whereas now you're saying, right, well, make sure your left thumb is over in this position. But then obviously I'm putting up my left hand. Mm-hmm. They're seeing what they think is my right hand. Right. Everything's back to front. And these are primary kids as well. Some of the high school kids are just as bad. But, the young kids are trying to do this as well as deal with the technology side of things. It's really difficult. And even now, I still can't go into schools.
Yeah, that certainly is difficult. So, Craig, how have you found it in Strathallan School then with all of the challenges?
Yeah, so initially we were online. We've been on Microsoft Teams, which has been really good. I mean, it was difficult to actually get the pipes out. I always found because first of all, a lot of the younger kids struggled with the tuning themselves, but also there was all sorts of issues with it, buffering. I don't know if the pipes were too loud for the computer's microphone to pick up, and all sorts of delays and breaks in the tunes. So that was difficult when you had a pretty talented pupil there who you're trying to give proper advice to. It's not about lift this finger up, it's about how to phrase a 2/4 march, for example. That made that quite difficult. But on the chanter, I found the Teams thing quite good. Again, not for your absolute beginners. That was pretty difficult, but for those who were learning tunes, we could do that. And then since then, since we got back after summer and after the lockdown, we have invested in some electric chanters, and as a school, we're quite fortunate to be able to do that sort of thing. And we've had some lessons have been still on Teams, but we've tried to get kids into the classroom a bit more and get that. It's just about the personal interaction. Everyone knows piping and drumming is all about the characters you meet and deal with, and
100%.
It's great to just have the kids back in front of you again.
Well, it's the social element of it as well, Craig. I'm sure we're all missing our bandmates, but I'm sure in school they were all missing their mates in school too. I'm sure.
Definitely. I think since the school's been back, it's been great. People are really positive about it all. Not just in terms of piping and drumming, just walking around school, you see big grins on faces because they haven't missed it. I've definitely missed it. I'm loving being back. No, I'll never moan about my work again.
That's fantastic. So, am I right in saying, I'm just guessing here, did you guys manage to buy the Blair digital chanters? The Blair chanters?
We ended up going for Dagger chanters.
Daggers, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, just through Stuart and Kenny down at McCallum's, and they got them sent up quite quickly, and that was all very quickly. So that was great of them.
So how you finding using those? Okay, did the kids adjust okay?
Do you know? So I think I'm going to start using them in the first lessons going forward now. This is one of these weird COVID things that it might actually change what I do forever, because the first piping lesson, piping teachers will know when you're trying to get the pupil to get their fingers on every hole and pinky all the way down to the low G. It can be really difficult and kids can get really frustrated. And whereas this has just been, the finger work doesn't have to be absolutely perfect from the word go. The very first note that you're playing, if it's low G, every finger down. They just have to sort of be there or thereabouts on the Dagger, and then sort of by the end of the lesson, I've been giving them a chanter to go and practice with, and they've been going out the door and trying it, and they're getting straight to the low G because they've got that confidence and they've had a good time. So actually, I think first few lessons I'll be using the electric chanters. I've been really impressed with it.
Excellent. Deej, have you got any kind of hints and tips for drumming tutors? We don't have electronic doohickeys that we could use.
I don't know. I'm probably saying quite similar to Craig. I've had to sit and drastically look at my own teaching curriculum because there is no set curriculum. We will do it how we deem best way to teach the pupils coming through. So a lot of my stuff has now been changed, and I've looked at this, as well as doing the live lessons, having recordings there for the kids to do, which I would never have done before. I would have been in a case of
YouTube clips or something like that. Did you mean?
Yeah. So I use the Google Classroom facilities, and each of the kids have their profile and stuff. I set up a classroom, they're invited in, and then during the week, in between lessons, I can upload videos or recordings or messages. It's basically like Facebook.
Yeah.
Very, very basic.
I like the sound of that, though. Yeah, so they're constantly updated with recordings through the week until their next class.
Whatever I put up, and if they have a question, they can fire it in. Or if they're, I'm playing this wrong, they can record themselves, upload it. So I can instantly, because I've got the app on my phone, if I'm not by the laptop, I can instantly listen to what they put up or reply to them. So I think it's, in a roundabout way, it's benefiting them more because they're getting more
attention.
Access to
more one-to-one quick attention. Yeah. Andrew, I know ourselves, mate. You're my piping tutor, so I have to behave myself here. But the way we've got around the bandwidth problem, because Craig, you were talking about it, stuttering, buffering, all of that, is we depended greatly on recordings. I would send Andrew a recording and he would send one back. Andrew, have you found that's possibly the best way to work with online tutoring? Or?
Well, definitely you can get a lot more detail on the sound of the pipes and things like that there. Like, it's the distortion of the microphone. You think you need to have some quite special microphone with the right gain levels or something on it to do it properly, but with a proper, even just from your phone recording, you can get a lot more detail. So it's been good for the pipes. And the only thing I'm sure you notice sometimes in Zoom, if it starts to get a wee bit weak, the connection, it's sort of like you could be playing a wee tune and it starts to go a wee bit slow, and then all of a sudden it just goes lightning like really fast. So like I'm always aware, like maybe I'm demonstrating something, but then I wonder did I like play really slow and then suddenly speed up, and then they're gonna try to do that to me. I don't know. But recordings is quite good. I wasn't aware of that Google room. What do you call it again?
Classrooms.
Classroom thing. That sounds quite useful as well. You could, especially uploading videos that way. That'd be good.
That could be useful. Yeah. So Craig, what was it you said you guys used in Strathallan School? Do you use something similar?
Teams. Yeah, Microsoft Teams very similar. You've got your team there, so all my pupils will be in one team, and I can load up any information or any recordings too. It's exactly the same idea as classrooms. So any of these things are great, and we'll use them going forward now, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's it. It's the new normal, as everyone's talking about.
Exactly. Great ways to even communicate safely with the kids as well. So you're not doing it over text or Facebook. It's a sort of secure program to use. Yeah, so great.
That's it. And Deej, I don't know about you, I'm just the same with technology, and kids can do this a lot quicker than I ever could. So Craig, I need to ask you, just now that we have you, I need to ask you about your new book, mate. It's called 30 Exactly. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, so I actually turned 30 this year, and I've been meaning to bring out a book for ages, and I'm quite a traditionalist with these things. I just wanted it to be called A Collection of Music, written by Craig Muirhead. But Davy Hunter, who you probably know, Davy,
I do, yeah.
he puts lots of books together for lots of different people. He did my last arranged book too, and he's always great for ideas. So I said, "Oh, I want this, just standard title and nothing fancy." And he counted the tunes and said, "Oh, there's 30 tunes there." He said, "You're turning 30, aren't you?" She said, "Well, we should call it 30 exactly." And he sent me the cover.
There you go.
And I thought, that's actually brilliant. And it was in my favourite colours of blue, red, and white. So he knows me well. So, so I was sold on the cover. So that's how that came about.
Fantastic stuff. So where can folks get their mitts on this then? Where is it available, Craig?
You can buy it sort of directly through my own sort of Facebook music page. If you search in Craig Muirhead into Facebook, but also most of the sort of big piping shops have taken them on, like McCallum's and National Piping Centre, Scott Curry, for example. Yeah, all the usual sort of faces that have it. So
all your usual retailers, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think I've a few more questions to ask you, but first of all, I want to know your thoughts about what you think rolling forward now over the next few years and the wake of all of this pandemic. What do you think the future of teaching will be? Will we be using more technology like this, do you think?
I think certain tutors will and certain tutors won't. I'd imagine there are some people out there who are just hating this, and I understand why.
Like myself and Deej, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably been quite a good reset for piper instructors to think about things completely differently, because I still, for the last few years, I've been teaching the way that I was taught, and things have moved on in all walks of life. So actually, there probably are new and better ways to think about things that didn't exist 20 years ago when we were all learning. So yeah, I think, for example, the electric chanters, I genuinely think that's a great first lesson. I haven't had a kid sort of walking out with their head down from their first lesson thinking, I just couldn't get that. Everyone's been smiling. You've got the sound of the pipes, they think it's great because
but you have the sound of the drone and all there, even though
for the
you're
young ones,
playing with each other, just
This sounds like the bagpipes already. Brilliant. That sort of thing. So I think there will be some permanent changes from this, and I'm quite happy with some of them. I just can't wait to get back to a bit of normality, band practices.
100% agree with you there.
Tuning their drones.
Yeah.
That'd be nice to do.
That's it. It used to be a job everybody hated it, but now we all want to do it now, That's it. So we've got some big Rab Show staples. Deej, Andrew, you know what staples are. I'll start off. First of all, what has been your most embarrassing moment in piping and drumming, Craig? In all your time of playing?
So, this is quite funny. Myself and Jonathan Graham were picked to go to Delhi to the Commonwealth Games, right?
Oh,
This
wow.
is a weird one. And pipe at the handover to Glasgow from Delhi.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely brilliant. Rodney McLeod put our names forward for it when we were at the Piping Centre. And we had to go to training for weeks and weeks, because we were going to be lifted up on these big boards playing the pipes on people's shoulders.
Oh, wow.
All pretty bizarre. And at the very end of it, the guys were going to lift these boards up in the air, and we would be hoisted like 6 feet in the air, and this was like watched by 1 billion people. I think was the stat we were given in India at closing ceremony, and it was supposed to be the big moment where the cameras were all zoomed in on the pipers, and I tripped. Okay, and they had to pan out the camera. They lost all the big image that they wanted of the big fancy.
Oh.
We were still there, but we were like miles away, so you couldn't tell that I was like practically down on a knee. I'm just glad they zoomed out, because that would have been like a YouTube sensation. That would have been
that would have been
probably that's up there.
That would have been a viral clip, I'm sure. Yeah. But
Yeah.
such an experience, though, Craig. You've got a story to tell us.
That was a cool one. That was a cool one. Until I fell.
So, Deej, do you want to kick off another Rab Show staple?
What's your favourite cheese?
My favourite cheese. Oh,
Yeah.
That's a good one.
that's a good one. I don't know if I'm fancy enough to have a favourite cheese. I think I'm going to cause offence if I say like Wensleydale.
Not at all. That's a fancy cheese there.
Is that all right?
Yeah. Some people have said, cheese strings that you would give to kids. Some people have said that, baby bells, so that's quite a good answer.
No, I like the Wednesday, like Christmas time. The candles. Yeah.
Andrew, have you got another one? Rab show staple?
Wordle's breakfast.
What was that?
What do you get? What do you get for your Wordle's breakfast?
Yes.
What did I have for breakfast?
For the Wordles, the week.
Oh, World's morning. Oh, gee. Well, actually, the World's, with the power, always went to this little cafe outside the grounds, and I had about 6 breakfasts because I used to go about 6 times to this great wee lady who ran this tiny little kind of hole in the wall, all these fried rolls. And we'd go over and sit in there and helping the likes of Big Russell Weir and John McLeod to do the power. And sit there all day while everyone was getting soaked in Glasgow Green. We'd be sitting with a cup of tea and like a 5th bacon roll of the day. So, yeah.
I think I know that place. I think I've had a roll and sausage in there before. Yeah.
Brilliant place.
Fantastic. Well, Craig, I have to say, man, thank you so much for taking time to chat to us. And the future of teaching in piping and drumming, I think it'll be a different world. I think you'll agree. Yeah.
I think
definitely.
Thanks for having me.
Not at all. Yeah, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again in the near future. And hopefully on the grass.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much. Cheers.